but we just dropped off Tyner. We're going to grab some food. We both about to break the fast right now. I got Daniel into fasting, and you've been fasting for what, about a month now?
Yeah.
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 And I helped coach you through the first few days. You want to tell my YouTube channel what went through in the beginning processes of being a new intermittent faster? I haven't talked about this on my channel for a while.
It was pretty crazy. Like, I think the first 3-4 days were the hardest because I'd obviously like get really hungry around lunchtime, and then having to fast until usually 2, 3, 4 p.m. Some days 6, 7. Was really challenging around the mid-time of the day, especially because I work a lot and I was doing construction, renovation stuff.
A lot of physical stuff you're doing.
So I would do some physical stuff, and then I'd realize that I was like a little bit lightheaded or dehydrated really quickly, and I just had to drink crazy amounts of water. Like, I was probably going through 2-3 liters of water by the first half of the day. I had a water pack with me, actually.
And did you find the water helped to suppress your cravings, or?
Yeah, it made a major difference.
Yeah. So you just chug some water, go away, and then come back every 20 to 30 minutes, or?
Yeah, 20 to 30 minutes. Sometimes it would come back like really subtle, where I would just feel like a grumbling in my stomach. And then sometimes it would be like as if someone just punched me in the stomach a little bit. And then there was times where like it wasn't even real, like it didn't feel like hunger as I know it, which is like that little craving that you have, but it would feel like my whole body was like, you often use the word depleted. That's what it would feel like. It would feel like your entire body is like running low on something that's essential to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would reach a state right after that where I would go beyond that, and I would be like awake, but I like to describe it as like neutral. Like, I wasn't energized almost at all, but I also wasn't tired at all. I was like in a state of just neutrality, and usually my energy wouldn't dip up or down after that. It was pretty consistent, and it was actually helpful because I felt like I got more work done. I was more focused during that. I think you described that kind of as being in ketosis.
Mm-hmm.
So you would actually really notice that state change.
Yeah.
When your psychology was like, but the interesting thing was when I did my first long fast, where I actually slept without eating for like a whole day.
Yeah, we did a 32 or 36 hour fast with you.
Yeah.
You did a 24 hour first, and then I think a day or two later we got you to do a 32 or 36.
36 was really interesting. I've never woken up and been so unbelievably focused on food. Like, I feel like I woke up in survival mode. Like, I literally was, and I already had a full-on plan of how I was gonna break the fast.
Yeah.
So all I could think of, well, that was like brushing my teeth, showering, picking out like clothes and stuff, was all about how I'm going to get food.
How good was that food?
It was unbelievable. It's the best sushi I've ever had. And I've been to Japan for sushi. So this was like crazy. I almost wish I fasted for like every day of Japan, so I could have really fully experienced the food.
Doesn't it make you change your idea about, like, you know, eating and just in general?
My concept of food has changed completely.
Yeah.
I don't even think of my hunger anymore as like something I need to like worry about. I just think about like how I can get nutrients into my body.
Yeah.
And I think about basically enjoying food a lot more.
So just for everyone out there, you said there was like 3 different states you kind of went through, where like, not states, but like different feelings of hunger. So one was actual, just that I'm kind of hungry feeling. One's like a stomach pain, like where your stomach's actually growling and like hungry, like you're like, holy shit. And then the third is like that depleted state.
Yeah.
Now that you've been doing it for a month, do you still get those stomach pains? Or is it just like either depleted or hungry or fat, like just completely fast?
It's become more subtle. I don't see it as a hunger pain as much as I see it as my body working through the food that I had before. Mm-hmm. So now I experience, so for example, if the night before I eat some shitty food, I'll notice my stomach is like literally working harder to get rid of that food. Like, it takes longer for it to fully process it.
Isn't that crazy? But also, what's crazy is that like your body was adapted to eating like frequently. So now that you're not eating as frequently, those stomach pains aren't as hard because your body taught your mind that whenever you get that feeling, that it's time to eat.
Right.
Isn't that crazy?
It's really interesting, and it's been really helpful for me because I don't know if I've told you this before, but I've definitely struggled with some binge eating behaviors where when I would buy groceries, I'd be like, the first thing I would do would be like, eat a shit ton of it.
Yeah.
And now that I have this like rule set in my head where I don't eat at certain parts of the day and certain parts of the day I do, and I've even experimented in this month of like, okay, like today I'm just not gonna fast at all. Let me see what it's like to eat food at normal times. Because sometimes you just end up being forced in social situations where you feel like you have to eat.
Yeah.
So I've done that a few times.
Call those situational days.
Yeah, situational days, exactly. So now I'm like realizing there's so much flexibility with how I treat food and my behaviors around food. And it's actually, I find it very empowering. Like to be able to just think that like I can do whatever I want with food. Now that I understand how my body reacts to it and when I really need it, as opposed to when my body thinks I need it.
It's amazing. Well, it seems like it's going really well for you so far. You're a month in. Thank you for sharing your experiences here on my channel. Guys, go follow Daniel on Instagram. He's doing a lot of cool stuff here in
check out at London Mindfulness Community or at VArcadia Tech. Those are two totally different parts of my life, meditation and virtual reality, but they both have really cool content, and that's where I post.
And I'm kind of taking you guys through the development of their business here on YouTube as well. I haven't been there in a while, but I got to come and check out how everything's going there.
Yeah,
but
man.
we're at the grocery store now. It's time to grab some food, and we're about to break our fasts.